This is one of the most anticipated NBA drafts in recent memory, and there are some big names with a lot of potential slated for the top 10 picks. So we asked our sports anchors in 4 of those cities what they think about this year's prospects. The Sacramento Kings with the 2nd pick, the Dallas Mavericks with the 5th pick, the Chicago Bulls with the 7th pick, and the Philadelphia 76ers with the 10th pick. So here we go, starting with who's your favorite player in the NBA draft?
For my favorite guy in this draft, I'm going to take us slightly off the beaten path here. We'll get to talking about those big names in just a little bit. But my guy in this draft is Shai Gilgeous-Alexander out of Kentucky, the guard with a 7-foot wingspan. Now, he does leave something to be desired in the weight category. He's 180 pounds soaking wet at 6'6". Some people are worried about if he can put that weight on to bang at the next level. But when we're talking about a guard that can defend a guard-heavy league with a 7-foot wingspan, I think that's something that a middle-range 8 to 14 type team could really add to their roster to defend some guard play coming down the stretch.
I'm going to eliminate DeAndre Ayton from the conversation on favorite player in this draft because I think he's clearly the top prospect. But I'm intrigued the most with Luka Doncic, the 6'8", 19-year-old from Slovenia who led Real Madrid to the EuroLeague championship. He was the MVP of that league, MVP of the championship series, and that's a higher level of competition than American D1 college basketball. So you can definitely make the case that Luka Doncic is the most accomplished prospect in this draft.
My favorite player in Thursday's NBA draft is also the player whom I believe has the most potential in the class of 2018, and that's Jaren Jackson Jr. out of Michigan State. The 7-footer has size and skill on both ends of the court. He has defensive prowess. He can protect the rim, but also step out and knock down three-pointers. And the best thing about Jackson is he's only 18 years old. He'll be 18 when Adam Silver calls his name on Thursday night. So I think whatever team gets Jaren Jackson Jr., they're getting the steal of the draft.
My favorite player going into the draft, and I am biased, would be Villanova's Mikal Bridges. He can defend, rebound, create his own shot, basically does everything, a complete player. And we saw that this season, a great leader and a great person.
All right, so the next question, which player do you think will have the biggest impact?
I believe that the player that's going to have the biggest impact at the NBA level right away is none other than Luka Doncic. That name rings true around here in Sacramento. He has been slated in a lot of mock drafts in that number 2 position for good reason. Doncic has been playing against grown men since the age of 16, now 19 with a EuroLeague title and 2 EuroLeague finals under his belt. He's got real deal professional basketball experience. That's going to go a long way wherever he goes in being ready to play on day one for whatever NBA team it's going to be.
I think you have to think DeAndre Ayton will have the biggest impact. However, since he very likely is headed to the Phoenix Suns with the first pick of the draft, he will be flying under the radar because I don't think he will have such an impact on that team that they will immediately become a shoe-in playoff contender. But at 7'1", just 19 years old, being compared to David Robinson and Anthony Davis, DeAndre Ayton has a great chance to have the biggest impact both immediately and long-term among the prospects in this draft.
I believe DeAndre Ayton will have the biggest impact of any player drafted in this year's class of 2018, simply because he's the most physically ready for the rigors of the NBA. His 7-foot body, but 240, 250 pounds, and the fact that it's all but assured he's going to go right down the road from Tucson to the Phoenix Suns. Have very little adjustment, I think, from a lifestyle standpoint, but I think DeAndre Ayton is going to step into the league and really have an impact right out of the gate.
Most people have DeAndre Ayton, the big man out of Arizona, as the number 1 pick. And for the Suns, this is a pick that makes a lot of sense. He feels a need for them, played in Arizona, and has monster skills. He would be a player that would make an immediate impact.
And we can't let them leave without a prediction. Who do they think their local teams will take?
As for who the Kings actually select at number 2, I'm going a different direction. I believe that the front office is in love with Marvin Bagley III. The Duke product leaves a little bit to be desired on the defensive end of things and isn't so strong with the right, but I believe that he has all of the intangibles that the Kings need right now. If you go Doncic, you get a little bit of guard heavy. If you go with Bagley, he also does step on a couple toes of that current roster, but I think that this is a guy who's going to have not only a high ceiling, but a long, long career in the NBA.
I think the Mavericks will wind up with Mo Bamba Bamba, the 7'1" center from the University of Texas, and as much buzz as there has been in the last couple of days about the Mavs' interest in Luka Doncic, there will probably be some disappointment among Mavericks fans if they wind up with Bamba. I think Doncic will be gone, but Bamba has loads of potential. The much talked about 7'10" wingspan, and apparently he's been working diligently on that outside shot. A big man like that who can stretch the floor, shoot the three, would be a great asset.
I got a sneaky feeling that Mo Bamba will bring his almost 8-foot wingspan here to the city of Broad Shoulders and really feel a big need for the Bulls in the front court. And again, he has untapped potential for his size and skill, and a player who really seems to be dedicated to making his presence felt on the defensive end.
For the Sixers, I would love them to take Bridges with that 10th pick. Just talked with Villanova head coach Jay Wright today. He has a great relationship with Coach Brett Brown. He said Brett would love him to play with them. Mikal would love nothing more than to play for his hometown team. But of course, he knows this is a business, and he would be happy to go anywhere. But we all kind of want him right here.
Draft night is so exciting. So we'll get the answer to all of those questions and many more when the NBA draft kicks off this Thursday. Angela Lang for CBS Local Sports.